After all these years of sailing, one truth keeps returning to me. It's not the ship that makes a voyage unforgettable. It's the moments between the moments. You can tell a lot about a cruise line the moment you step onto the ship. On some, the air is filled with laughter, music, and the sound of clinking glasses. On others, it's quiet, almost reverent, like a floating sanctuary gliding through time. And that's the beauty of this ranking. It's not just about price tags or ship size, it's about feeling. Every cruise line has its own soul. Some pulse with energy, some breathe serenity, and some, well, they try hard to be both and end up somewhere in between. Let's look closer at Carnival, because no list is complete without it. Carnival is like the eternal spring break of the seas. The colors are loud, the music never stops, and the energy is contagious. You'll find families, newlyweds, retirees, all gathered in a single vibrant swirl of humanity. The buffet might not win Michelin stars, but the smiles are genuine. The deck parties stretch past midnight, and the comedy shows often better than you expect. Carnival knows how to keep the fun alive, even when the ship rocks a little harder than it should. But it's not all sunshine and conga lines. Those looking for peace might find themselves searching for a quiet corner that doesn't exist. Still, if your definition of joy is freedom, noise, and laughter under neon lights, Carnival delivers exactly what it promises, and that's worth something. Then you cross paths with Norwegian Cruise Line, and the atmosphere shifts. It's freer, lighter. You're not told what to wear to dinner or when to show up. You wander, explore, choose your own pace. Norwegian calls it freestyle cruising, but it's really about independence. You can dine in a different restaurant every night. Italian one day, Asian fusion the next. The shows are Vegas quality, and the ships themselves feel fresh, bold, and modern. But the trade-off is subtle. You pay for that flexibility, often in hidden ways. Premium dining, upgraded drinks, priority access. The nickel and diming can sneak up on you like a shadow behind all that freedom. Yet when the lights dim and the ship glides across moonlit water, Norwegian captures something magical. A feeling that the ocean belongs to you and only you. Now, Royal Caribbean, the giant among giants. Walking onto one of their ships feels like stepping into a futuristic city that somehow floats. There's a symphony of sound, laughter echoing from the surf simulator, the sizzle of food on an open grill, the hum of elevators moving between 15 decks. Royal Caribbean understands spectacle better than anyone. Ice rinks, skydiving tunnels, zip lines, their ships are built to impress. But beyond all the flash, there's something surprisingly human. The crew remembers you. The bartenders learn your drink by day 2. The entertainment rivals anything on land, and the sunsets from the solarium might just stop time. Of course, crowds are part of the deal. Thousands of people chasing the same perfect view. But even in that chaos, there's community. The kind that makes strangers toast each other at midnight under the stars. Step onto a princess cruise and the mood changes entirely. The noise fades, the lights soften. You feel a kind of calm that's rare at sea. Princess doesn't chase trends, it honors tradition. The pace is slower, the service gentler, and the days stretch long and golden. It's the cruise line for travelers who savor rather than rush, who watch the ocean, not their phones. You'll find couples celebrating anniversaries, friends reconnecting, and solo travelers rediscovering peace. Dinner feels like an occasion, not an event. The staff move with quiet grace, and the entertainment blends elegance with emotion. Princess is proof that luxury isn't always about extravagance. Sometimes it's about space to breathe. And then there's celebrity cruises, modern, sleek, and beautifully composed. The first thing you notice is design.
Clean lines, art everywhere, a quiet hum of sophistication. It's luxury without snobbery, stylish but warm. The food is world class, the service intuitive. It feels like a boutique hotel at sea, where even the smallest details feel intentional. Every cabin, every corridor whispers calm. Celebrity doesn't shout for attention, it earns it with quiet perfection. You sit on your balcony at night, glass in hand, and the world feels very still. Just waves, wind, and a sense that time finally slowed down. That's the real gift celebrity gives. Not entertainment, but escape. Now we drift into the realm of Holland America, a cruise line that doesn't chase headlines, but wins hearts. It's the choice for travelers who see cruising not as a vacation, but as an art form. The music is softer, the pace slower, the people older, but the atmosphere, it's timeless. Step into a lounge and you'll hear live jazz that feels like it belongs in a New York club from the 1940s. Walk the promenade deck and you'll see couples hand in hand watching the wake trail off into infinity. Holland America doesn't scream for your attention. It earns it with elegance. For many, it feels like coming home. Then the luxury lines arrive, quietly but powerfully. Oceania, Regent Seven Seas, and Seabourn. Here, there are no announcements, crowds, no chaos. Just calm. The food tastes like something crafted by Michelin chefs, because it often is. The cabins feel like private sanctuaries. The service, flawless. When you order wine, the waiter already knows your favorite vintage. When you disembark, your luggage is waiting, perfectly arranged, like magic. The difference is attention. The feeling that every detail, every smile, every gesture was crafted for you. These ships don't try to entertain you, they invite you to exhale. And then, floating in its own universe, comes Disney Cruise Line. It's whimsical, yes, but behind the fairy dust and character meet and greets lies a level of craftsmanship few companies can match. Every corridor, every meal, every melody is tuned for joy. Even if you don't care for cartoons or costumes, you can't ignore how flawlessly Disney runs its ships. The service feels heartfelt. The design is breathtaking. Families are happy, but so are the adults who came just for the serenity of Disney's private island. It's not a cruise, it's theater. It's memory-making in motion. But here's the truth most passengers don't realize. The best cruise line isn't about rankings or reviews. It's about you. Because each ship tells a different story. Some tell stories of adventure and laughter, where you dance on deck until sunrise. Some whisper stories of reflection, where you stand at the railing, alone with your thoughts, feeling the wind trace your face. And some, the truly special ones, tell stories of connection, the kind that lingers long after you're home. That's the real magic of cruising. So when people ask which cruise line is the best, maybe the answer isn't a name at all. Maybe it's a moment, a memory that only you can define. A dinner under the stars on Celebrity, a wild deck party on Carnival, a quiet sunrise on Princess. Because in the end, every ship carries the same dream, to help us remember how vast the world is and how small our worries can become when we're surrounded by nothing but sea and sky. As the ship sails into its next port, the lights glimmer across the water like fireflies. The music fades, the ocean hums. And somewhere, a new traveler steps aboard, ready to start their own story. That's the beauty of cruising. It never ends. The ports change, the faces change, but the feeling, that first breath of sea air, that endless horizon, it's always the same. And maybe that's why we keep coming back. If you love stories like this, if the sound of waves, laughter, and adventure calls to you, then you already know where you belong. Out there, between sea and sky, chasing the next horizon. The quiet mornings when the sun first touches the horizon, painting the sea in gold.
The laughter of strangers becoming friends over coffee in a crowded buffet. The way the ship hums softly beneath your feet at night, steady and alive, reminding you that you're moving, not just across the ocean, but through time itself. People always ask me, what's the best cruise line? And every time, I smile. Because how do you rank wonder? How do you score a sunset? Sure, luxury lines have their glamour, and budget ships have their chaos, but somewhere between the fancy dining rooms and the poolside parties lies the real magic. That feeling of being completely present. The kind of peace that only comes when there's nothing around you but open water and the sound of the waves brushing against the hull. I've seen families reuniting after years apart, couples celebrating anniversaries with quiet tears and laughter, solo travelers who boarded shy and left with a dozen new friends. Every cruise line gives you that possibility, that chance to be part of something fleeting and beautiful. Because when you sail, you're not escaping life, you're rediscovering it. You start to notice small things again, the way light dances on the water, how food tastes different when you're truly relaxed, how strangers can feel like old friends by the end of a single week. That's why ranking these cruise lines is so hard, because no matter how different they are, whether it's Carnival's wild energy, Royal Caribbean's grand spectacle, or Princess's calm grace, they all share the same heartbeat, the same promise, the same whisper from the ocean that says, slow down, breathe, you're exactly where you need to be. And maybe that's the real ranking that matters, the one that isn't written on paper, but remembered in your heart. The sea has a way of humbling you. When you stand at the railing, the wind in your hair and nothing but blue in every direction, you start to realize how small your worries really are. The ocean doesn't care about deadlines or arguments or yesterday's mistakes. It just moves, endlessly, gently, with a rhythm older than time itself. Every cruise, no matter the ship or the name on its hull, carries that same rhythm. The laughter echoing from balconies, the quiet conversations at dawn, the shimmer of city lights fading behind you, they all blend into something universal, something deeply human. You see, cruising isn't about ships, it's about souls. It's about rediscovering the part of you that still believes in wonder, the part that looks out at the horizon and feels possibility, not distance. Maybe that's why people fall in love with it, not because of the food or the shows or the fancy suites, but because of what happens in the quiet moments between them. That instant when the world goes still and you feel the ship gliding through the dark, carrying thousands of stories toward a brand new sunrise. Somewhere below deck, a steward is folding a towel into a swan. Somewhere on the bow, a couple is dancing to music only they can hear. Somewhere on a balcony, someone's taking a deep breath, thinking, maybe for the first time in years, that everything is going to be okay. That's the true luxury of the sea, not the price you pay, but the peace it gives. And as the ship sails forward, the wake stretching out behind you like a memory, you begin to understand. It's not just about where you're going, it's about how it feels to be on the way. The ports will come and go, the flags will change, the rankings will shift. But the ocean, it stays the same, constant, endless, waiting. And when you find yourself back on land, still hearing the faint hum of engines in your chest, you'll realize something quietly extraordinary, that a part of you never really left the ship. Because once you've tasted the horizon, you never stop chasing it. There's a moment near the end of every cruise, maybe it's the last evening before you return to port, when the laughter starts to quiet and the ship feels different. The hallways are softer, the music a little slower. People move gently, almost carefully, as if they're trying to hold on to the magic just a little longer. You walk the outer deck one last time, and the air feels thick with memory.
The lights of the ship flicker against the waves, and somewhere in the distance, you can hear the ocean breathing. It's in that moment you understand what this whole journey was really about. It wasn't the ports you visited or the shows you watched. It wasn't the dining or the cabin or the view from your balcony. It was the space it gave you, the pause from everything you left behind. The sea gives you time to think, to feel, to listen. You start remembering the people you met, the couple who'd been cruising for 40 years, the crew member who smiled every morning no matter how tired he looked, the child staring wide-eyed at the endless blue. You remember the sound of the ship's horn echoing across open water, the shimmer of moonlight on the waves, the way every sunset felt slightly different, as if the sky was painting one last goodbye, just for you. And as the ship sails on through the night, you realize something simple but powerful. Cruising isn't just a way to see the world. It's a reminder that you're still part of it. The same ocean that touches the Caribbean brushes against Alaska, Norway, and Japan. The same wind that moves your ship carries whispers from every shore. And for a brief, shining moment, you're connected to it all. Every person, every story, every dream carried across the tides. That's the real destination, not the next port, not the next adventure, but this feeling of belonging to something bigger than yourself. So when the trip ends and the ship finally docks, don't be sad that it's over. Because the truth is, every cruise leaves a piece of the ocean inside you. And long after you've stepped back on land, you'll still feel it, in the rhythm of your breath, in the way your heart stirs when you hear the word sea. And maybe, someday soon, you'll find yourself back here again, standing on deck, the sun rising, the horizon wide open, ready to begin all over again. Because the ocean never really says goodbye. It just waits for your return. At the end of the day, every cruise line, from the budget-friendly to the ultra-luxury, is chasing the same dream. To give you something the land never could, the feeling of complete escape. That moment when the shore disappears behind you, and suddenly, the only thing that exists is sky, sea, and the hum of the ship beneath your feet. Some lines do it with grand theaters and champagne towers. Others with quiet moments, a sunrise coffee alone on the aft deck, the gentle sound of waves against the hull. But they all share one truth. No matter your budget, your cabin, or your destination, the ocean gives everyone the same horizon. You see, ranking cruise lines isn't really about luxury or food or Wi-Fi speed. It's about connection. To the people you meet, the stories you collect, and the part of yourself that only wakes up when you're miles from shore. Because when you're out there, surrounded by nothing but blue, you start to feel small in the best possible way. Your worries shrink, your senses sharpen. You start to remember what it means to just be. And that's something no rating can measure. Not the stars, not the amenities, not the price tag. It's the quiet magic that lives between ports, carried by the wind, reflected in the sea, waiting for you to notice. So whether your next cruise is on a massive floating city or a smaller classic ship, step on board with open eyes and an open heart. Because somewhere out there, beyond the horizon, your next great story is already waiting. And when the ocean calls again, you'll know exactly where you belong. If you love cruise secrets, hidden stories, and insider tips like these, make sure you're subscribed, because the next voyage we take together might just change the way you see the sea forever.